Nation has the right to self-determination, but not Scotland. That's what both British Tory leadership contenders said during hustings on Tuesday.
If I am elected as Prime Minister, I will not allow another independence referendum.
But I just don't think that anybody thinks that now or any time in the near future is remotely the time to focus on this. And that's not something that I'm focused on. No, I'm focused on defending the Union. I'm focused on demonstrating the benefit of the Union to people in Scotland.
The Foreign Secretary and the former Chancellor appeared to be united in ruling out a new Scottish independence referendum. Tory leadership frontrunner Lizz Truss said a vote would not be granted within a decade, as the 2014 poll was once in a generation. She also compared the nations of the United Kingdom to a family she would keep together. But when it comes to another country, Ukraine, Lizz Truss takes a firm stand.
The partnership between our great nations is based on the fundamental principle that people should be free to choose their own future.
The controversy over Scottish independence comes as the race to replace Prime Minister Boris Johnson is heating up, and both candidates face criticism on their campaign trail over domestic problems that grip the country. However, new polls show that support for Scottish independence is on the rise, whoever becomes the next Prime Minister. In October, Britain's Supreme Court is set to rule on whether a second referendum can take place next year. Academic and independent journalist Jason Michael described current relations between Scotland and England as domestic political violence.
To describe Britain as a family, it can only be described as a family if we're willing to accept that it's an utterly dysfunctional family. Britain has a very long history of exploiting Scotland's mineral resources, an act of political domestic violence. I would describe this marriage between England and Scotland. The British government is forever describing this as a voluntary union. It's a voluntary union. We are not allowed the opportunity to vote ourselves out of democratically. The British government is being entirely hypocritical, and this is a long tradition of the London government's treatment of Scotland, the 6 counties that are occupied by Britain in the north of Ireland and Wales. It should come as no surprise that when it comes to advancing America's foreign policy objectives in Eastern Europe, that this right of nations to govern themselves is advocated for Ukraine, but certainly not for Scotland, which might lead to the breakup of British hegemony.